let me just hypothetical situation here. Trump is on the list, and there's a real video that gets
That's not
dropped.
hypothetical. He is.
I know, but I'm just saying. Motherfucker, let me
But
go out on a limb
go
here.
out on a limb, dude.
Would it not seem like just the perfect set of circumstances for him to be able to say AI, deep fake? And not just him. I mean, he's definitely, a pedophile, did all that shit 100%.
Welcome back to This Place Sucks, and today
We'll start it here.
is a very, very special day. It's a holiday. It's Friday the 13th, so we got our boy Jason here, and we're gonna keep it spooky with you guys for the next hour.
Keep it spooky, keep it
Keep
crispy.
it creepy.
Handmade here, dude, by one and only Womp over here.
Yeah,
Made that for me a couple years back.
If anybody that listens to the show or anybody that's in the comedy scene, whatever, any friends, family,
Associates.
you guys want a hand-painted hockey mask, let me know. I sell them for about $20, and
I wear that one every year since I've had it. I've worn it to pass out candy to the kids. I've become, the adult that dons I'm the dad in the...
Yeah.
You got to pick either a Jason mask or a Michael Myers.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't have the stature for Jason.
Yeah.
But I prefer a Jason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, these things are cool, man. I enjoy making them. I enjoy painting them. I enjoy, they're fun. So if anybody wants one out there, let me know, and I'll cook you up something real nice.
I would like to beef up. Maybe I'll get some big, like platform shoes.
Well, I have a pair of black, just the jet black work boots, and I have the lifts.
Oh yeah.
So I have that in the cover. When I do the Michael Myers shit, it makes me look a little taller.
Which he's not portrayed as massive, but definitely as big. Probably 6 something.
Yeah, it just depends. Just depends on the film.
Yeah,
he's progressively gotten bigger over the movies.
That is true.
I think the original, I think Nick Castle was 5'11", 6 foot, and then by the time Rob Zombie got a hold of it, Tyler Maine's 7'3". So yeah, he's got.
But Jason's always been pretty big.
Yeah, Jason's big dude.
Except for when he was a kid.
Yeah, I think the only one he was not realistic, but the only one he just looked like a normal size was 2 when he had the bag over his head.
Yeah.
He wasn't very big in that one.
They hadn't fleshed it all out yet.
Yeah, he hadn't grown. He hadn't had his growth spurt yet.
Hell yeah, man. Friday the 13th.
Hell yeah, it's Friday the 13th, dude.
I hope you all went and got some flash tattoos or something, man.
Yeah,
I haven't, I didn't make it out there today. Had to work, but I hope the rest of you did. Hopefully some of y'all went up there to Jeff.
Yeah.
Got you some. He had some good deals going on, man.
I do a Friday the 13th flash tattoo. I've got a couple.
They're
always fun to go to. It's just a big line. Everybody just kind of hangs out and bullshit.
And I've got a 4th of July one. I've got a Halloween one, and I've got a Friday the 13th one. And pretty much all 3 flashes they do.
I had 2 that were not necessarily flash. I got the AFI jack-o'-lantern. I got that one on Halloween, and then I got the Jason mask on Friday the 13th. But they weren't a flash type
you just
thing.
got them.
I just got them on the days.
Yeah.
But I did do the little coffin. That was
This is the Halloween flash.
The cat.
Yeah, but it was off their bigger. It was 120.
Yeah.
It wasn't a. This was off a $40 page or something. Used to be for this, man. This was when shop minimums were still $60.
Yeah.
This flash, $17. They had 2 sheets. You get little flashes for $17. You get big flashes for $76, and they were all 4th of July themed. You don't see as tattoo parlors do the 4th of July flash as much anymore.
No, yeah. Usually it's Friday the 13th
or Halloween.
Occasionally you'll see Halloween or something.
Yeah.
I think I got the coffin. Me and Heather went and got those on Friday the 13th, and then the candle and the dice, and those were all at different times Friday the 13th.
I didn't see it till it was too late, but apparently today, exclusively from 4 to 5 p.m., you could go in Chipotle, and they had a Friday the 13th tattoo special, where if you came in and you had tattoos, didn't even have to be real. If you drew one on or did like a temporary or something, just come in with a tattoo. You get a buy one get one meal. So you get your fucking like bowl, chips, and drink.
That would have been bad
times 2,
dude. I haven't had Chipotle in fucking.
And I didn't
since
think
that
it was.
day we went in Louisville.
It's been a while. I just went
a
with
couple years ago. Yeah.
I went back to back. I went to the zoo with my mom and everybody, and we went to Qdoba.
Yeah,
and then
Qdoba's good.
2 days later, I took Aria to the mall, and we got Chipotle then.
Hotheads is good too.
Yeah, Chipotle is of the like bar style where I'm gonna get a bowl.
Yeah.
I'm not like a burrito bar kind of guy. I want like to order the burrito off the menu.
Right. Yeah. Instead of building it myself. You know?
Yeah, I'll do that with a bowl. I do like a Chipotle, but it's like a Subway for burritos.
And it is.
You know what I mean?
I had a very chill Friday the 13th. I listened to the rain for a bit. It was nice.
Yeah.
Nice storm moved in. I watched. I'm trying to think which.
Damn, I almost spilled that.
I watched Friday the 13th 4, 5, and 6.
Oh, you get you some watching it?
Yeah, I just had. Well, I was cutting all my shirts. I've been cutting the sleeves out of all my old shirts. I had to rock the Slumber Party Massacre today. But yeah, I was doing that and laundry and stuff, so I just had them on for background noise. And then I was finishing up part 6 before you got off and I come over here. So it's a nice trilogy, 4, 5, and 6. Those are, I really like watching those and Jason Takes Manhattan. That's like my top. That's like my Mount Rushmore of the Friday films is 3, 4, 5, and 8, or 4, 5, 6, and 8. I like those.
I like 4, 5. I like Jason X.
Jason X.
I know a lot of people don't put that in their
fun.
top, but I like
It's
Jason
fun.
X.
Jason at 6. Jason Lives. That one's fun because they bring him back like Frankenstein, like he gets struck by lightning.
Yeah,
And then like
I
they
love
got
Jason Takes
fucking-
Manhattan.
Yeah.
When he gets washed away
Yeah.
in the sewers
Sewer,
at the end, man.
Yeah, Manhattan was one of the first ones I ever watched as a kid, and so was 6. So like when I watched 6 and I watched Manhattan, I didn't know there was one in between because I was a kid. So I assumed that they so when I found out about part 7, I was pretty fucking
Yeah.
I was one stoked 12-year-old dude. But 6 is cool. Alice Cooper's on the soundtrack. I fuck with that heavily. All of them got something. The first 8, I fuck with all those. Everything else after that's whatever. But Jason X is fun, man.
I think Jason X is fun. I even think
watched that
Jason
on,
versus Freddy's fun, man. You go in retrospect.
Oh yeah,
I didn't like it.
It's
at the time.
fine. I seen that one in. So that was the first horror movie I ever seen in theaters. Was Freddy versus Jason because my
No
aunt took
shit.
me. Yeah, I think I was in 6th grade. And then shout out Josh Norton, his older brother. He had Jason X on VHS.
Didn't that come
when it
out
first came
before?
out. Yeah.
Okay. 'Cause I would say that I saw in theaters.
Yeah, it came out.
But I feel like
before.
I might have seen something before that.
No, yeah, Freddy vs. Jason was the first horror movie I ever seen on the big screen.
Me and my cousins and shit, they would take the group of us, and some of them were like 12, 13, 14, when we were like 6, 7, 8. But we would all go. Wasn't really. I remember going to a Halloween double feature that was Jurassic Park and Hocus Pocus.
Oh, that would have been sick.
When I was like 5 or 6, and
That's that kind of shit I live for, man. That's badass.
as a kid, Jurassic Park was scary.
As an adult, it's still pretty fucking
Yeah.
scary. That movie holds up.
It
well,
is
man.
definitely. I never looked at it like this, thought about it like this growing up. But it's considered a creature feature.
Yeah.
It's
It
definitely like a monster movie.
It's a monster movie. for
Especially
sure.
knowing now that like dinosaurs aren't really like what they're portrayed in that movie anyway.
Yeah.
It's not so much a sci-fi movie as it is horror.
Yeah.
Nothing good ever happens.
Yeah. It's crazy, the age gap, like when we go to shows and we hang out and stuff, like a lot of the early 20s, like to mid 20s, like they don't know a lot of the horror movies that I talk about and shit.
Oh yeah.
Like the obscure fucking.
I think a lot of people our
slasher shit.
age might not. that
No, and
aren't
they don't,
into
and
it.
that's fine. I'm not
Yeah.
judging or anything, but I do think that they should go out of their way to check out some of that shit because it
There was a
really
great,
is some good stuff out there, man.
There was a great era of streaming
Yeah.
when Netflix not even when they first came out. When they first came out, it was definitely better. But when Hulu first came out, and they and Netflix were competing really hard,
Yeah.
they were both chock full of horror movies,
Yeah.
dude. From shit way back in the day, like your Boris Karloff stuff, till every B movie made from the 70s up to the 2000s. Used to find so much shit.
Yeah.
It was all on there. I know there's a bunch of good stuff still on the Criterion collection of old horror stuff. Not,
Those
a
were
shitload, but
that was fun for me. Was like that was when I was probably, I don't know, because I grew up watching all the shit, but I didn't really like dissect it and get into it until I was a little older. But probably from the time I was about 14 or 15 up until today,
yeah.
I don't know. That was like my biggest inspiration for wanting to make anything, not even just making horror stuff in general, but like those movies, because they just, not that they're simple, because there's a lot of stuff that goes into the practical effects and all that, but like the story,
But you could do it on a budget.
you could do it on a budget, and back then you could make a hell of a lot of money because they were still in their heyday.
Well, when we were younger,
the slashers and
Blair
shit.
Witch Project was one of the top
Blair
grossing
Witch
films
fucking rules.
as far as profit margin. That movie cost them like a couple, like $20,000 to make, and they made millions. Same with Paranormal Activity. That movie literally, I think, was like the biggest profit movie of all time. As far, I think it cost them something like $12,000 to make.
Yeah.
And then they made, like $50 million at the box office or whatever it was, a shitload.
Right.
And then you still get that out of horror all the time. It's crazy because horror doesn't seem cheap anymore.
No.
You watch it and it seems like they put a lot into, especially you watch something like Nope. You know what I mean?
Right.
It has like that kind of stuff. Or you watch like the newer Halloweens even though people didn't like them, they just looked a lot more realistic and believable than the old movies. They all like...
I think we watched Halloween Kills together when it dropped at the apartment. We sat at your house when we watched that one.
No, I think we went and saw it in the theater.
Did we?
Up here in Madison.
We might have. I don't know.
I think that might have been the last
My
movie we
years
saw.
Run together.
Whatever the first new Halloween was. What was that one?
2018.
That was one of the last ones I saw in theaters.
I think we
or
watched.
maybe the second one.
I think we watched
One
Kills
must have
at
came
the
out
apartment when it dropped because it comes straight to streaming because of
Did
COVID
it?
and shit. Yeah.
I remember one of the last movies I watched in theaters was definitely a horror movie before COVID. Might have been that new Chucky movie in the October before.
Could
Did
have
that
been.
come out in 2019?
Probably.
Or yeah.
I didn't watch
2019.
it, so I don't know.
I went and saw it. It had the dude from Atlanta
Mark
in it.
Hamill voiced Chucky. That was my only reason.
Oh, really?
Well, the reason I didn't go see it, and it may sound pretentious to some, and that's fine, but there's a guy, I forget his first name. His last name, I believe, is Mangini or Mancini or something.
Mangione.
No, it's Mancini. He wrote all of the Child's Play movies. He didn't direct them, but he wrote all of them. And he had the rights to Chucky and all that. And then when they lost the name Child's Play, and don't quote me, I could be wrong on that, but they started doing like Bride of Chucky and Seed of Chucky. That was all still him. He still was writing all of those. So he had the rights to do the Chucky TV series, and he was going to do, he had done the newer movie, like the Curse of Chucky and the Cult of Chucky. He had wrote all those. And I forget which company owned the rights to the name. I can't remember if it was Universal or fucking Paramount. One of them. Whoever put it out. They had the rights to the original Child's Play, and they were going to do the remake. And he tried to stop it because he was still making the shit. Like, he was doing the TV show, and he'd done the other movies that were direct-to-DVD, like Curse of Chucky and all that. So he was, like, very anti, don't go see this because I'm still doing, and he still had Brad Dourif voicing Chucky. Like,
he didn't tell me.
And that's fine, dude. I'll reach out to him next
I wouldn't have went. Tell him my bad.
But yeah, that's
really
originally why I didn't go see it. But I seen the trailer. I just didn't
well, I
know
will
if
say,
something
"Give me the power, I beg of you," goes off.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
When he's
Chucky fucks,
give
dude.
me the power, I beg of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. And he's got that kid.
Well, the original Child's Play is scary because if you really, if you haven't ever seen it and you're just going into it blind, and I'm assuming it was probably like that when it come out, but I wasn't born yet. You don't know if Andy's the killer or not.
Oh, yeah.
You can really watch it in the point of view that Andy is killing all the adults, that this kid is... You don't really know that Chucky, the doll, is alive until the end of the movie.
It's played a lot more creepy, yeah.
If you think that Andy's killing these people, you know.
Well, there's also, you know, the whole lore. Like, it's a very tongue-in-cheek, playful little killer guy, but he was a bad guy. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
He's like Freddy Krueger.
Charles Lee
Freddy
Ray
Krueger's
didn't
like
fuck around, dude.
He's a fun little cutesy, like, I'm getting you in your dreams, and he does his little like avant-garde sort of shit. But he was diddling children, unless the news story where he was innocent,
right?
And he was like,
well, even later on in the originals, they did try to get away from that a little bit. Like, it's crazy because when the first one come out, he was doing bad shit to them kids. Yeah. And then later on in the films, he was just a child killer. Yeah. Because that's so much better. Yeah. He was killing the kids.
But then in the remake with the dude from Watchmen...
they tried to make him like...
Where Rorschach played him. Yeah. He was just like autistic.
Jackie Earl Haley, I think's his name.
Is that the actor's name?
Yeah, he plays Rorschach,
I like him.
Yeah, he's good. Very good actor. Yeah, man, that's wild that he became such a pop culture figure in the 80s. Like, Freddy was everywhere. Like, Robert Englund was putting that makeup on and going out all the time.
And he was terrifying.
He was terrifying, but, like, the story is he was a child predator, dude. Yeah. Like, it's crazy.
He was diddling and killing kids. Which is horrifying.
Yeah, it's horrifying, dude. The 80s were wild because, like, now I miss... Like, I've never been one of the people that bitch about sequels. I like when they milk shit dry, and the reason why is because a lot of shit that I like is all sequels because I like that kind of shit. If it's good.
But not all sequels are good.
Not all sequels are good, no. But what's crazy, since it is Friday the 13th, every year almost in the 80s you had a Friday the 13th movie come out. Which is fucking, that's insane. Like,
well,
every
dude,
year almost through the 80s, you had one drop. And that had to be such a fun
Those franchises were
man.
huge back then.
Yeah.
Like, as far as memorabilia and yada, 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 it was Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger.
Another fun fact that's crazy that people don't realize, in the span of the entire Paramount Friday the 13th franchise, so before New Line got a hold of the rights, when Paramount still owned it, those 8 movies, in the time period you had those 8 films that's pretty much that made Jason, that like laid the whole foundation, you only seen Michael Myers 3 times. Like, there was only 3 movies. Yeah. Or Halloween 1, 2, and then 4 and 5 were like 88 and 89. You only had 4 Halloween movies in that entire span.
He's a long burner.
But it's crazy, though, that Michael Myers and Halloween ultimately is still being made, and they're still making money, and we haven't had a Friday the 13th movie in almost 20 years. Yeah. But it's just crazy that...
Crazy how much the business side fucks up what you're going to get. Yeah. All the licensing. I mean, you still to this day, but you have these issues with studios. You have it with the Sony and Marvel.
There's
and the this and that.
That if you create something, if you write something, you make something, whatever... After a certain amount of time, you can bid to get the copyright to it, and it's yours. So what had happened was Sean Cunningham owned Friday the 13th. So he owned, like, everything that wasn't involved with, like, the first film. And then Victor Miller, who wrote the original Friday the 13th, ended up with the rights to... the characters. So Mrs. Voorhees,
and that shit's crazy, right?
And Sean Cunningham's got the mask
to divvy up what is essentially a piece of art. Imagine taking a painting and being like, well, the Louvre owns the name the Mona Lisa, but the character is owned by the Metropolitan Museum of Art.
Yeah.
But the actual brush strokes, are owned by the natural, whatever, you know what I mean? Like,
but it's crazy that
with anything else, it sounds insane.
It's crazy. That's why we don't have it. I mean, in a nutshell, obviously there's more to it, but like that's just the basic outline. It's the basic stall of why we don't have another Friday the 13th film coming out.
Which is a shame because I love one.
Dude. God damn, I would too, dude. I would fucking I would probably take a vacation that week.
I'd love to see the right person do a Friday the 13th, or I loved my favorite. Because it really terrified me. Because I've always I've always had a nightmares guy. You see me when I sleep, grinding my teeth.
Oh, I hear you.
I'm having a terrible time over there, dude.
It's fucking rough, dude.
But I was like, oh shit, dude, this could really happen. So he scared the shit out of me. And the remakes I didn't hate.
Yeah.
But I feel like the time has come. Yeah. Like we're in an era of horror now where they could really do a remake or even a reprisal. Obviously, like of the original story, an extension, a sequel. I think it's time, dude. We're milking Michael Myers to death, and we're not getting any of the other guys.
Yeah, I would like to see, because people, Nightmare on Elm Street's very touchy for a lot of people because they don't want anybody that's not Robert Englund playing Freddy.
Yeah.
And he's old, and he said 100 times that he can't physically do it now.
You could get,
and that's fine.
Dude.
But I think of like how Jordan Peele made Candyman.
Yeah,
wasn't that Jordan Peele? He did Candyman, right?
I think he produced it. He didn't direct it.
He's still involved.
Yeah.
They did a great job with that.
A woman directed.
It was awesome, and they still had Tony Todd in there.
It popped him in,
like that was.
And maybe you could do that. Yeah. I mean, England's old.
Yeah,
old
you could
now.
use his voice for something, or you could,
But you could find a nice. I mean, you could take somebody unknown, even. And find you could, unknown.
You could really make it terrifying.
Or you could take a weirdo dude that's weird looking, like a Benedict Cumberbatch.
What really fucked up the remake of Nightmare on Elm Street, number one, they shouldn't have done a remake. They should have done something similar like they did with Friday the 13th in 2009, but they shouldn't have used CGI for the face.
Yeah, that looked bad.
You gotta use the practical. You gotta use the makeup. You can't CGI a burn victim in a Christmas sweater.
I saw this and I just thought it was cool, more so than like exciting.
Yeah.
But A24 is producing a Backrooms movie, and the YouTuber that did the Backrooms series that like popularized it here a couple years ago is directing, and he's fucking 19. He's gonna be directing
good on him.
A pretty high budget A24 film.
I love that. Good on A24.
And I bet, dude, that this will probably be the thing that ignites the Gen Z horror audience, because they've horror is very popular online. Analog horror and this shit they've been doing on YouTube. I'm sure some of the listeners know about the Monument Mythos. There's all these fun little interactive horror stories that you watch YouTube videos of, and the Backrooms have these thousands and thousands of pages of user generated Reddit post stories, and then videos people have made, and then there's video games people have created in Roblox that are Backrooms games that people have made whole stories in the game. And you know what I mean? It's this whole collaborative universe being brought into the fucking big screen. And I wonder if something like that might be kind of one of the futures of horror. Because we had this moment of really ethereal existential horror with your Ari Aster and your Jordan Peele and stuff like that. And I feel like all this analog horror shit has a very similar vibe. You know what I mean? It's all just all eeriness.
Yeah.
But I think it could be big, and it could be cool, man. It could be an interesting pivot. I'd like to see some of those. Are you familiar with SCP Foundation and that shit?
Yeah.
Some of that shit and creepypastas in general.
Yeah.
I follow a couple YouTube channels that just do voiceover plays of creepypastas, really well done audio productions, and then just some bullshit AI images during the YouTube video. But I listen to some of these that are like a couple hours long, and I'm like, this should be a movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some of those creepypastas are scarier than anything I've read by
I would like to see
Dean Koontz.
If there was anything that they were going to bring back or like try to do something new and different. I want Universal to come off their fucking high horse and give me the Creature from the Black Lagoon again.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I want.
Dude, honestly,
I would give anything to see that.
With what Robert Eggers did with Nosferatu, I think it's time to, if we're doing all these remakes and shit, let's revisit the OG Creature features. Creature from the Black Lagoon, the fucking American Werewolf in London. Let's do fucking, let's do Frankenstein right.
Yeah.
Let's do a real, not this Harvey Dent guy. What's that dude's name? Aaron Eckhart.
Yeah. Not
him, dude. Didn't he play Frankenstein in that movie?
I think. I don't.
Was that him? Anyway, not that dude. It might have been the dude from the first Punisher. Remember the old Punishers from when we were kids, the early 2000s?
Dolph Lundgren?
Not Dolph, the other guy.
Oh,
the guy that was in the Mist.
Thomas Jane?
Yeah. Is that the dude from the Mist?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think.
The end of the Mist.
Thomas Jane played Punisher.
I think that's his name. Thomas Jane.
And Ray Stevenson played him in Warzone.
Okay. Now I gotta know. I'm pretty sure it's Thomas Jane. You've seen The Mist, right?
Yeah.
The old one
Killer
where he kills
ending,
his
dude.
family.
Yeah, killer ending, dude. Stephen King, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it is.
King, yeah.
Thomas Jane. Let me see. Yeah, that's the guy, Thomas Jane.
Yeah.
Now, was it him in Frankenstein? I don't think it was. But,
that's what I want to see. I want to see that kind of shit come back.
Real Mary Shelley type of Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Or I read this, what's his name? Junji Ito, Ito or something like that. He does graphic novels of like horror stories and shit, but he's got a version of Frankenstein that's mad terrifying, dude. And
that's that kind of shit I want to see, man.
It's time for that, dude. I don't even see the early 2000s movie on here. I see a 2025 film, Frankenstein, with this guy in it. It's a Guillermo del Toro. They released a trailer 2 weeks ago. It's got Oscar Isaac and Mia Goth in it.
Yeah,
Oh, and it's also got Christopher Waltz in it?
Yeah, I haven't
this
seen that
might
one,
be-
but I've heard of it. Yeah.
So they might be doing exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It hasn't. Yeah, it hasn't come. That's why I haven't seen it. Yeah.
Oh, I'm looking at some images.
Go ahead. That's about to go off.
Looks pretty good.
That looks promising.
Looks like it could be interesting. But yeah, man, I would like to see. I'd like to see that one, Little Black Lagoon.
Yeah, I'm all about the Creature from the Black Lagoon. That's always been one of my favorites. That one bothered me when I was a kid because it was the first time I'd watched a black and white horror film. I think I was staying in my aunt's house, and her and my uncle, they were old. I mean, they were old people. But I'd stayed up at their house one night, and I always had to have the TV on when I slept. And I remember having AMC on and waking up and watching Creature from the Black Lagoon in black and white, obviously.
Super.
And yeah, it really freaked me out as a kid, dude.
I wouldn't go near a body of water.
I wouldn't go near a lagoon.
Hell no, dude.
But yeah, that's what I want to see, man. I want to see that kind of shit. A horror's cool, but I really, meta horror and all that stuff's fine. Like I said, I love Ari Aster. Like, I love his shit.
Loves Hereditary, Midsommar. I love all that. I love Get Out and all that stuff.
Yeah, Jordan Peele's fucking fantastic. Us was great.
Yeah. And even some, The Witch.
The Witch.
All of that stuff that's even a little less scary and more just like nice, creepy vibes.
Yeah.
But it's time to...
Yeah. It's
time to scare the shit out of me again. You know what I mean?
Well, it's crazy because a lot of shit that I love and a lot of shit that I like's not necessarily scary anyways. I mean, it's probably not scary to me now because that's been my whole life. But I mean, the slashers definitely, that's been dead for a long time. I couldn't tell you the last
good one
that I watched.
That is, you could possibly maybe
not saying not a good
right
one
for a revival,
but
a new franchise of slasher that really slaps.
Terrifier did all right, man. Terrifier's fine.
I think Terrifier passes right by slasher into gore, though.
Yeah, but I mean, the having the killer in a mask.
Yeah.
Type. That's what I mean by the slasher, though. Just having that character that's just
But there's
the
something
random
about
killer, you know.
your early days of like your Halloween and stuff, man. Like something about a guy that is presumably a guy that for some reason we can't take him out.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, you know, I can walk from this dude, I can run from him, I can get in a car, but somehow he ends up where I'm at. Something about that didn't scare me as a kid, because as a kid I was like, nothing that's real life is scary. Supernatural is scary. But now that I'm like, don't really believe in supernatural stuff, I'm like, there's nothing scarier than a guy twice my size trying to grab a hold of me.
Yeah, that's always been my appeal to why I thought that the slasher movie was the scariest genre of horror, because it could happen to anybody.
The guy down the street could decide, hey, I'm going to go slash this dude up tonight.
And I'm going to wear a mask when I do it.
Yeah, and that's way more
likely.
likely.
He ain't got to wear a mask. There's been plenty where nobody wore a mask.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, that's more likely than, like, you know, a creature crawling up out of the river and coming to get me.
Yeah.
Or a fucking, you know.
Not in the Ohio, dude. That's probably pretty likely. Let's go walk down there right now.
Dude, I
guarantee see something.
The creature from the Ohio River would be...
That's going to be our movie.
That'd be like the new Hills Have Eyes,
the
dude.
Creature from the Ohio
The water
River.
has a mouth.
The water has a mouth, dude. I love that. I tell you right now, we got it recorded. So
the river has teeth. Actually, that kind of goes hard.
The river has teeth.
The river has teeth.
I like that.
Bunch of camp. People keep disappearing from the river, fishermen and stuff.
That's why I always thought that the Scream franchise was scary, because they always kill the killer at the end, and it's always a different killer.
Yeah.
It's the same costume. So
how terrifying is that?
It could literally be anybody.
It's like, oh, I killed the killer. I killed the very mortal bad guy.
Yeah.
But wait, I got the wrong guy. I thought I was safe, and it turns out I'm not.
But wait, there's
scary.
more. Yeah, dude. Scream movies.
But wait,
there's more. I love the Scream movies, man. I've always argued with people that I think that Scream 2 is top 5 best sequels ever in film.
Yeah, Scream really held it together, man.
Rules, man.
Their whole thing of like, you didn't get the right dude.
Yeah,
I think is they play it perfectly. It's better than he didn't die somehow. Is he supernatural? It's like, no, you got the wrong guy. Or better yet, there's a new killer now.
Yeah.
There's a different guy inspired by the original crimes.
Yeah,
whatever.
And they're making a sequel. Cause the Scream was meta before meta. You know what I mean?
They held it. I mean, honestly,
it paved the way.
They parodied Scream with Scary Movie and shit. When Scream
was
in many
a parody
ways
of the slasher films. Yeah,
Wes
Craven was a genius for that.
It
man.
was a parody that was not, because I think everybody relates parody to comedy now, but it was a non-comedic parody.
Yeah.
It was an inversion of everything that slashers were. Yeah, Wes Craven rules, man.
I think, because we were talking the other night.
New Nightmare.
We were talking at Chameleon about John Carpenter.
Yeah.
And I said that, everybody talks about Halloween, but I don't think that that's his, like, because I have always considered The Thing as one of the scariest movies ever made. But it's crazy that people don't talk about Wes Craven enough, because he made so many fucking horror movies. Like, he made Nightmare on Elm Street. He made Last House on the Left. He made The Hills Have Eyes. He gave us Scream. Like, but it's crazy. He did all of those very serious, very scary, like the dark.
He cameoed in Jay and Silent Bob.
And then to come in and do Scream, which is fucking light years away different than Last House on the Left.
And shit that he was subverting shit that he had done in many ways. You know what I mean?
He was a real
one.
Yeah, he's Mount Rushmore of horror, for sure.
Yeah. And was that the last Freddy film he did, New Nightmare? Wes Craven's New Nightmare? I think that was the because he didn't do Freddy vs. Jason, and he didn't do the new ones.
Yeah, Wes Craven's New Nightmare was it. That was his last one, yeah.
And that movie ruled, dude.
I'm wanting to say he only did... I think he only did the first one. Don't think he was involved with any of the sequels until Wes Craven's New Nightmare.
Might have been.
Could be
I think
wrong
you're right.
Because Robert Shea owned New Line.
Yeah.
And he produced all the rest of them. But I don't think Wes was involved in anything.
Might not have been.
One. I don't. Like I said, don't quote me on that. I don't know. But I don't think Wes had much to do with
all the
he might have
shit.
come back and did Dream Warriors, maybe. Maybe he was involved in 3. Because Dream Warriors was a banger.
What about a Wishmaster, man?
The old Faustian bargain,
That's
dude.
a
You just had
Faustian
to
bargain.
fucking, you had to do it. You had to do
Wishmaster
it.
scared the shit out of
Charlie
me as a
Badger's
kid, dude.
wrecking his fucking
Yeah, he said
delivery
it.
truck right now. He said it.
Faustian bargain. But no, that movie introduced me to the concept, dude. That
Yeah.
and Thinner.
Thinner, and Leprechaun.
Leprechaun, yeah,
Leprechaun
that was
was another one.
Faustian.
Yeah.
Very, see, dude,
Yeah.
you do know what a Faustian bargain
It's like
is.
I've been playing you the whole time.
Hell, man.
I like the Leprechaun movies. They were fun, dude.
I do too. Leprechaun in the Hood.
Yeah.
Oh, also people forget, man. Just like people will have never seen the first. You see a lot of people like finally watched the first Nightmare on Elm Street. Why didn't anybody tell me young Depp was fucking hunking it up?
Yeah.
Aniston is in the first Leprechaun.
Kevin
Jennifer
Bacon's
Aniston.
in the first Friday the 13th, man.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
And he's a babe in
I couldn't
that.
remember
Yeah.
who famous was in that. I wanted to say something.
All of them had somebody. Jamie Lee Curtis, the Halloween.
It's still like that. It's the Scream Queen thing, and just
Yeah.
in general, like
Scream really had all the queens because they had fucking Rose
Yeah.
McGowan, Nev Campbell, Courtney Cox.
Yeah.
Like,
well, and then Scream Kings too.
Yeah.
But it's still, you'd be surprised how many people start in horror films. Like now, look how big Florence Pugh is now. She's a
Yeah.
massive role in Marvel.
Yeah.
Right after Midsummer.
Yeah.
Which I told you. I said right walking out of that, I was like, this Florence
Yeah.
Pugh is a force
Yeah.
to be
And
reckoned
she is,
with.
man. I love Florence.
But yeah, man, a lot of actors get their start in a fucking little
It's
cheesy
just,
horror movie
you know,
sometimes.
It's easy. I think it was, I forget what her name is. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, a lot of people,
And people want to be in
Yeah.
horror movies now.
they do.
People that are already famous will now go back and do a horror movie.
You know, they used to,
Like they put Bill Hader and all those, and Bill Skarsgård and all them, and It, and all those guys. You know what I mean?
they used to name, they used to give the scripts a fake name for Friday the 13th because it was so, it just kept growing popularity-wise. They would give it fake names.
Oh yeah.
And the only one I can, they were all, Space Boy. What's his name, man? The Nazi. David Bowie. They were all named after David Bowie shit. Right? So, like, I think Part 6 was called Crystal Japan. Like, they all had, like, a, you know. And then when the actors would find out that it was... And I shouldn't have called David Bowie a Nazi. That was crazy.
Yeah, he didn't. He did a fascist.
Yeah.
Not
that
specifically
was crazy.
Nazi.
That was silly. I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, that was wild.
That's crazy work. But no, everybody would freak out. Everybody would freak out when they would find out that they were doing a Friday the 13th movie. Like, that was a big deal because they didn't know when they were auditioning that it was going to be Friday the 13th. Everybody's always wanted to be in a horror movie. Especially
Yeah.
nowadays, too, when they decide to bring something back or they decide to make a sequel or some type of continuation of that kind of shit. People geek for that. Like,
Yeah.
there's going to be a lot of people that are going to want to be in Friday the 13th if they ever make another one. I know a lot of people were stoked to try to be in the new Halloween trilogy when it come out because
Yeah.
it just has that
And It
that
and all
aura.
of that
yeah,
shit, man.
They talk about remakes that fucked. It and It Chapter 2 were fucking fantastic. I love those. I prefer those over the original. Crucify me, I don't care. Tim Curry's fine as Pennywise, it's whatever.
No, he's definitely a better Pennywise in the regard of
yeah, but I don't fucking
that story.
Yeah.
But I'll say this: I watched the first one, didn't care for it much, didn't dislike it, but once the second one made me like the whole pack.
Really phoned it in for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love those, man. I love it.
But yeah, I do think the first one is a scarier watch still. I think it's creepier.
The original?
I think a lot of
I don't
shit
think it's
just
not
looks
creepier, but
I think old
think
shit is just
overall,
creepier
yeah.
most of the time.
I think
A lot of old shit that's not horror movies. Like if
Yeah.
I watch A Wonderful Life,
yeah.
for some reason,
Yeah.
the crackle of the old tape, the lines on the screen, it's just the way they lit shit back then.
You just can't
gives me a
recreate
creepy
that,
vibe.
man. You can't recreate that
Yeah.
that quality.
Even when people use like retro filters on shit now, it still looks
doesn't.
too clean.
Yeah.
To really
Yeah.
be retro.
Yeah.
Like
There's
you really
something
got to
about
get
it,
an old
man.
camera. There's a dude I follow that has like a bowl cut on Facebook who he just has like thousands. He's been filming on VHS since he was like 11 years old. So he's got
I follow him on Insta, yeah.
You know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
he looks
Yeah.
like Kurt Cobain.
Yeah.
He's got like a little goatee and a bowl cut.
Yeah. He
He's
always
like,
wearing.
today we're back in 1983,
Yeah.
and he's got his fucking.
He still
family.
films
yeah.
on his camera, and it's, you can tell with that look.
Yeah.
Like he digitized it. I've watched the videos where he walks through how he does it all. He'll film on like the old full cassette.
Yeah,
and then
he's
put
fantastic.
the adapter in it, and then adapt that to a thing, and then put it in his computer. But yeah, man, I love watching all. I used to follow a channel, got taken down on YouTube, but they had 6 years. They had 1992 to 1998, 24-hour a day of Nickelodeon and Nick at Night. They had the commercials and everything, and they were just streaming it nonstop.
That's
they eventually got struck down. But yeah, it was crazy watching all the old like commercials in between for like the remember like the Bug Factory. We may put the goops in the oven and turn into a little gummy and shit. Yeah, man.
Ah, man, it was a magical time. I miss it.
Do you remember the speaking of shit that was scary as a kid? Do you ever remember the Goosebumps skull head? It was like a toy. It was huge when it came out. You put different like
I had to think about it
scary
for a second.
noses and ears and eyes and shit on it. You could pour slime in its head and it would come out of its nose. Dude,
Goosebumps was really that was another.
That was terrifying as a kid, dude.
That was another thing that and Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Yeah, that was way scarier.
Yeah.
That was like when I was like 6, 7 into Goosebumps, I was like, Are You Afraid of the Dark's for adults.
Yeah.
It's like grown up.
Yeah, watching Goosebumps, watching Are You Afraid of the Dark, constantly watching slasher movies on VHS.
No wonder
that's
we're
that
fucked
shit.
up.
Yeah, I mean that's.
But I was gonna say that head
molded me, bro.
That head, I begged for it.
Yeah.
Got it for Christmas, whatever. Dude, I had so many fucking nightmares where this thing was alive on my desk talking to me, telling me like I'm from hell, Satan sent me, and you know what I mean. That would scare the shit out of me because in the commercial, it would come alive and talk. You know what I mean? So like, yeah. But that episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark, man, where the kid drowned in the pool and he became like a decomposing spaghetti ghost, that was scary. The floating jester and it would drip like blue out of its mouth. That shit gave me nightmares.
God, that
as
shit
a kid.
was so fucking good, dude.
The haunted mask in Goosebumps, that was scary. Tower of Terror.
Yep.
I mean, you had your ones that were less scary.
I loved the books. That was like the few times that I read as a child.
I would power through some of them Goosebumps.
The Abominable Snowman from Pasadena.
Hell yeah.
That one fucking ruled.
Say Cheese and Die.
Say Cheese and Die, yep.
When they started doing the Choose Your Own Scare. Yeah. Man. Love
that book
shit.
fair hated to see me coming,
brother.
dude. I'm getting a couple pencils with eyeballs on them. And
my mom's a server, and she gave me $20 last night.
I want that Mustang poster and every fucking Goosebumps book you got. Yes, dude.
Get a fucking poster of a Lamborghini machine, dude. Couple nice erasers, couple Goosebumps.
Yep.
Now it's, dude, I sent my kid with like $40 a couple years ago to the Scholastic Book Fair, and she got like nothing. She got like a coloring book and some like pencils. Dang. And that was like the whole fucking $40.
That's crazy.
What a gambit. We need to, dude. If I wanted to be a guy that's like strictly business, I need to get into something to make big bucks. One of these companies that sell shit exclusively to schools, like there's a couple of them. The companies that sell senior memorabilia, they come in beginning of the year.
Balfour?
Yeah, get your fucking class of 08 shirt with all your bullshit on it, your mug, your class ring.
Yeah.
They make a shitload of money, dude. The high school motivational speaking circuit. Dude, one of those guys told me and Henry, because it was one of the musical ones. Remember, like, not the Wolf Brothers, but they had some other ones when we were in high school that were like real bands that would cover like Maroon 5 and shit. And then they would be like, hell yeah, did you guys like that song? Well, don't ever do drugs. This next one's fucking, Pearl Jam or whatever. But one of those guys was like, yeah, we get paid $1,000 a gig, and it was like a 3-man band. And I was like, damn, dude, that's fucking like $330 a person a day. You do fucking 5 schools a week, dude. But if you're one dude, doing the speaking circuit, dude. I remember having those dudes. They'd come in and be like, kids, when I was in this school. I would fucking smoke crack all the time. I would get it from the janitor. He still works here. He's back there. My best friend died. But I turned my life around. Now I work at NAS, and I barely drink or anything. And you kids can do it too.
Yeah. God, good times, dude. We grew up in such a fucking badass time.
Yeah.
I was telling somebody the other day because they didn't realize they didn't realize I was old as I was, which was nice. It was a nice compliment. But I told them, I said, being born in 92, the first 10 years of my life was 1992 to 2002. And that's a badass decade, dude. Like, a lot of cool shit. A lot of bad shit, but a lot of cool shit happened.
Bro, what's crazy is we're basically the same age.
Yeah.
But because I was born 3 months before the end of the 80s.
Yeah.
It's
you're
crazy
you're an 80s kid, bro.
that I can say I've been alive in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s, and 2020s.
Yeah.
I've been in five different
decades. Yeah. Hey, I've been in 4, man, and I feel your pain.
It's crazy. And it really is. Like, I used to think about, because I stayed with my great-grandma growing up a lot, and she was like 77 when she died. She was born in 1924. And so I would talk to her all the time. And she lived in out on Locust and shit growing up when it was like fucking nothing. You know what I mean? A couple farms. They had a general store out there. People would still go places by fucking horse into town a lot of the time. You know what I mean? They got their first car in like the 50s. I was like, this is crazy. You know, what was that like? I would, not so much ask her as I would just like sit there and imagine how crazy it must have been, because she didn't take kindly to asinine questions.
Yeah.
But we lived through an equally crazy, like the technological revolution at the 50 years from now will probably be seen as an even more impactful thing than the Industrial Revolution. Like our great grandparents might have went from like horses to cars to like no electricity to electricity, but we went from like computers that like fucking you could barely afford and that were the size of a fucking Great Dane,
and they fit in your pocket.
To fitting in your pocket, and you can connect to the internet in a heartbeat and get all this shit. And now you got the AI and the virtual reality, and it's
I know
like,
you love AI.
We're living through a one of those phases, man.
Yeah, and we are,
and we're in our 30s.
Yeah.
So like when we're in our 60s or 70s, what's it gonna be like?
It's gonna.
I hate AI and all that shit, but I mean it is coming.
Yeah.
I just hate, like I said, I think most of what people call AI is a marketing gimmick, and the shit they talk about is not it coming anytime soon.
That one company put out a whole ass commercial using AI.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the issue, is it's going to come to the point where art's not needed anymore, man.
Doesn't that suck? Doesn't it suck that like AI and robots were supposed to take away all the manual labor jobs?
But now they're taking away all the cool, fun artsy jobs.
They're doing all the stuff that people aspire to do. The only jobs you can get and still break out of poverty, they're taking. If AI starts playing sports, there will be no paths out of poverty for anybody anymore.
Yeah.
Just think about it, really. Nobody really fulfills the American dream anymore by working hard and moving up at the company and buying stock. Very one in a fucking trillion. Most people who end up breaking out hit the fucking social lottery and they get famous for art or music or movies or doing sports.
Yeah.
That's how your average person can go from being poor. But if AI is doing all of it, we're fucked, man.
We're fucked, man.
AI can definitely do this. Let AI listen to a few episodes, and it's going to recreate our voices and talk about the shit we can talk about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's sad.
I just don't think... I don't know, man. My like real thesis on the whole thing is, if you didn't feed it shit that we already made, it wouldn't be able to do anything.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So if we all kind of collectively say, hey, we own our shit, stop feeding it to the machine. Can it make something from nothing? Teach it to make a movie without showing it every movie ever made.
Right.
Can it do that? And we'll go from there. Also, it's all a marketing gimmick, but it's changing.
It's changing.
It's changing.
Changing everything.
Don't you think really that, because it was deep fakes a few years ago, and now you got the AI videos. Don't you think all that, and now they're, let me just, hypothetical situation here. Trump is on the Epstein list. And there's a real video that gets
not
dropped.
Hypothetical, he is.
I know, but I'm just saying, motherfucker, we go out on a limb here.
Go out on a limb, dude.
Would it not seem like just the perfect set of circumstances for him to be able to say AI, deep fake? And not just him. I mean, he's definitely, a pedophile, did all that shit 100%. But anybody else that's guilty or not guilty, they could have somebody on video doing a crime and say, no, that's AI. It's not real. They could have somebody that didn't do a crime say, hey, we got you on video, though, and it is AI. But they're not going to admit to it. It's going to get hairy in that sort of sense of things, man. It's going to get weird out there.
It is, man. Strange days have found us.
What about when that technology meets really good VR and AR, and you can wear the fucking Apple glasses, and AI is creating things around you and reacting to the fucking environment as you fucking go. Like, you're walking down the street, and it's fucking creating murals across the fucking buildings that are generating as you fucking walk. And it's doing all this using the fucking Elon chip, and it's processing your emotions, and it's like, oh, he needs to see flowers today. Oh, and it can fucking play music that only you can hear and shit. I mean, it really is going to be it's going to be a Matrix type of situation, isn't it?
Damn, dude. The sisters knew.
Yeah. Or, hear me out here, what if it just came out that, like, all those AI videos were just CGI? Like, some dude made them, and they're just trying to make you think that AI is real.
That would be cool.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that would be better.
Could be.
Could be. Doubt it.
But the kicker, right? The kicker is that quantum chip, man. Google's got that quantum chip now. Can do supercomputing and all that, fucking superposition, quantum states, flux, dude. Flux capacitors.
No wonder people just fucking go build a tiny home in the woods,
I get it, man.
I get it.
I get Ted Kaczynski was half right, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't think we should bomb every Tom, Dick, and Sally that's tangentially involved in society. I just think that, it wouldn't be a bad idea for more and more of us to kind of just, like, unplug a little more from that particular brand of shit.
Yeah.
It's weird because I feel so... I don't like... It's so unappealing to me to get on there and make it draw something for me or make it write something for me. I fucked with it 2 or 3 times and it's boring to me.
Right.
But I know that people are putting a lot of effort into making it better.
Yeah.
There's a lot of nerds obsessed with that shit right now.
There's a lot of people using it. There's a lot of bands, a lot of people that, that I like that are all about it. Which is fine.
Timbaland started an AI record label. It's only going to sign AI artists.
What does that?
What does that mean,
dude? What does that fucking?
They're
mean?
not artists. You're essentially signing programs.
Let me hit him with the Jason Winkler real quick. Why?
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
I just know it's crazy to me because I'm like, let's call a spade. You're buying a program. You're buying an algorithm. You're not buying an AI artist, man. You're buying an amalgamation.
An amalgamation.
You know what I mean?
There goes hitting them fucking words again, dude. A real conglomerate.
That's what the...
Just a fucking...
That's what the AI
a real
stands
department
for.
store, you know what I'm saying?
I'm just saying, it's a Frankenstein of real creation.
It's a Faustian Frankenstein.
It is, in many ways,
and
dude.
It's crazy. It's blowing my mind, dude.
In many ways, I think... I don't think AI is ever going to be sentient, but I think we're going to trick ourselves into believing it is, and we might turn ourselves over to it. We might buy the lie, so to speak. We'll convince ourselves that it's sentient.
We'll see
it's
how
real.
Project Bluebeam plays out first.
It's probably real.
And it probably
now
is.
that hologram technology is popping off, I saw that Tupac at Coachella was like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Imagine where it's at now.
Yeah. And hear me
Imagine
out.
dragons, dude.
I was about to say, if they really do it, man, and I know the government's listening. They listen to everything.
Yeah.
Please, for the love of God, make it a fucking kaiju. Make it a big monster if you're gonna do it. You know what I mean?
I just don't want to see it here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't have to do it in the Ohio Valley, but
That's
I'm just
a rip.
saying, God, please.
If you were to have to, all right, dude, to close it out, you have to drop
I got a couple more
a
things.
kaiju. Okay.
Yeah.
This has been a mostly horror episode.
Yeah, I've loved it. It's been my favorite episode.
You get to pick where the kaiju appears anywhere in the world.
Okay.
Where are you dropping it, dude?
Oof.
Where are you dropping that Godzilla?
So I think what would be more horrifying. So like just the average American wakes up early morning, they've got their coffee, and they see something on the TV about maybe an earthquake, maybe something has happened, and they just brush it off because they have to go to work and they have the monotony of day to day, and they're at work and then they're scrolling on their lunch break and they see more crazy shit. So I'm dropping multiple kaijus, okay? First kaiju's probably going to hit maybe California, maybe New York, somewhere vastly populated, close to the ocean.
You're a psychopath.
Then another kaiju will appear, say maybe Japan, maybe somewhere in Asia, and then we'd have another one in Russia, and that's how the people will really know something's bad because of the ties with Russia and America. And now we have a Soviet kaiju.
Okay, let me rephrase the question. I'm not talking about like, hey man,
that's how I would do Project Bluebeam.
You've got to kill as many people as possible with the kaijus. I'm talking about. It's inevitable.
Just one shows up.
You get a fucking call. Hey man, it's the aliens from Pacific Rim. We're blasting one kaiju through the crust, through this fucking wormhole.
Yeah,
it's gonna cause some hell, but you get to pick where we drop it. Only rule is you can't drop. It has to be a populated area. It can't be in the middle of the desert or Siberia or the middle of the ocean. Has to be in a populated area.
Yeah.
Your goal is not necessarily to kill as many people as possible.
Right.
It's not necessarily to save as many people as possible. You could use this to take out a strategic city that you don't like, which was more of the goal. Like, where would you drop
it'd
a Godzilla?
be a real shame if a giant fucking lizard ended up in Israel, wouldn't it? Give me some of that, dude.
I think I'd drop one in Austin, Texas, dude.
Wouldn't it be crazy if the mothership landed in Austin?
That would be crazy.
I think I think I would do it anywhere aside from America because we always just have to be the fucking main character, and I think for once we shouldn't be. So we'll probably drop it maybe in Europe somewhere and let them deal with it.
Yeah, Bulgaria.
Yeah, put it in Bulgaria.
Drop it in the hills somewhere.
But since, like I said, we do have some Gen Z listeners. We do have some listeners that just don't give a shit about the kind of stuff that I like, and that's fine. My Friday the 13th challenge for you, this will be dropping on Mondays when you hear
Monday
Monday the 16th.
Yeah.
So my challenge to you, if you haven't done so, man, and it's kind of a gauntlet, but I want you to watch all 8 of the Paramount Friday the 13th films, just from Friday the 13th to Jason Takes Manhattan. Watch them all in order. Treat it like you're binging your favorite show. Do that, and when you're done, then I want you to check out The Burning. It's some of Tom Savini's best work. It was a slasher from the 80s. Some of the best practical effects for a horror film. And Jason Alexander's in it, too, from Seinfeld. So if you're a comedy guy or gal, check that out. And then when you're done with all of this, I want you to watch Slumber Party Massacre from 1982. And after you've done all this, you're going to see why either you love the slasher and you think it's the best genre of horror, or you absolutely hate it and you think I'm a fucking idiot. And that's my challenge for you guys. That's my Friday the 13th challenge.
My Friday the 13th challenge is I want you to go out. Friday the 13th's over. You survived.
Yeah.
But did you? Because what I want you to do
is touch grass.
Is go walk under a ladder, let a black cat cross your path, break a mirror, shove a horseshoe up your ass.
Yeah.
That's good luck.
Yeah.
And do some other roll snake eyes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you make your own luck.
Yeah.
Okay. What else you got?
Shows. You go ahead and plug your shit real quick.
Oh yeah, what day is it? So June 18th, I will be at Louisville Comedy Club. That's at 7 o'clock. So if you guys could pop out to that, that's fine. That's just a little mic. July 2nd, I'll be at the Pro-Am at Go Bananas in Cincinnati. Also, just a mic. No big deal. But July 8th, I'm competing in Funniest in Cincinnati at Go Bananas. Audience participation and laughter is taken into account. So if I could get a few of y'alls to come out and laugh at my jokes about my foreskin and such, it'd just really be a delight for me. And then I'm on July 28th at Planet of the Tapes in Louisville. That's all I got on right now. But yeah, Funniest in Cincy. That's at 7:30 July 8th. That's a Tuesday up in Cincinnati. A lot of funny comics. It's hosted by Rand Barnelko that night. He's Funniest in Cincy winner a couple times. So very funny. Bunch of other funny comics on the thing. I can't remember who all the other ones. I want to say maybe Winston's performing, or is he on the night you're on?
Winston's on the night I'm on.
Okay, maybe that's what I saw.
Yeah.
There's guaranteed to be. Mike Frankie, I think, is on the night I'm on. He's funny as hell.
Yeah.
Bunch of funny people. Come out to that. What do you got?
So I've got June 25th. That Wednesday, I'm on the Pro-Am at Go Bananas in Cincinnati. And then July 10th, I'm on Crosstown Comedy Festival at the Commonwealth Sanctuary. So pop in, see me, come support.
That's also a contest.
It's a contest.
That's
so
the parallel
out,
Funniest in Cincy contest. There's
Yeah.
basically two lines of it. He's in the festival one. Also audience.
Yeah.
Laughter and
come
all
out,
that.
show me some love. Show some support.
And that one, I think the day you're on, I mean, I think that's a day. Every one of those days, they have a bunch of the regular comics, and then they have like a headliner or two.
Yeah, there's a lot of really good ones on.
Yeah.
That I'm on. So you don't want to miss that. It'll be a good time.
Yeah,
so.
That's guaranteed to be good. That whole comedy fest.
That's
Check
all
that
I
out.
got.
All right, guys. Yeah, that's about a wrap.
Well, happy Friday the 13th or Monday the 16th, whatever you prefer. This place sucks.
Yeah, get out there and suck today's